Hi, and welcome to Pilates Done Right. My name is Melanie. Hi, and welcome to Pilates Done Right. My name is Melanie. I'm a comprehensively certified Pilates instructor and personal trainer. And today I'm just going to go through a little short flow. I've got a little bit of time before my class starts, and I want to get a little bit of work in myself. So this is something sometimes I'll just do whatever feels right, get a little bit of a flow through before I get started teaching. So you're welcome to watch, you're welcome to join in. For equipment setup, I'm going to start with footwork. I've got my foot bar on high at the setting that's best for my height, and 3 reds. I'm on balanced body equipment, so 3 heavy springs. And I'll just lay back. And one of the things that I like to focus on in my classes is flow. So I think about as I'm teaching, what exercise will flow nicely with limited body position changes, limited spring changes, and try and get the exercises done that I want to, like all in one body position before I move on to the next. Moving down to the toes. As I'm cueing footwork for my clients, I won't give them a whole lot to think about. I'll just have them kind of get warmed up and take the time to kind of bring themselves to the class, so to speak, mentally get into it, feel the reformer, and start to warm up their muscles. Moving to Pilates V. I almost always do the same sequence. I start on the heels, then I move to the toes, and then I move to Pilates V, and then I move to heels wide. If I do change it up, it would usually only be to add the birdie on a perch. Why am I forgetting the word right now? But I will sometimes add this one in before I go to heels wide, just to really work people's arches. The word's going to come to me at the wrong time for this, but I'll throw in a few of those before I move to heels wide. Anyway, I've done heels wide. I'm going to move back to toes and take calf stretch. And I'll just get a couple of these here. I don't want to spend too awful much time because I've got more I want to do for my own body and a limited amount of time. Then I'll take them out to the toes and go right into running here. When I'm cueing this, I'm having them try to keep their hips both level on the carriage, really reaching out to the toes in between each rep. Make sure they're getting that full range of motion and taking it at the speed. And usually everybody's going at a little bit different speed here, so I'll just give an approximate countdown and I'll tell them this is approximately 5 and switch, 4 and switch, 3 and switch, 2 and switch, 1 and switch back out to the toes, bend both knees, bring it all the way back in. So that's how I would cue. You'll hear that in almost every class I teach. I'm going to do a couple of bridges. Doing it from the toes is a little bit more hamstring work. If you take them on the heels or the arches, it's a little bit more stability. But we're just peeling the spine up into the high bridge. Sip of air at the top, and then I'll have them create more space between each vertebra as they roll the spine back down. We're going to go for one more. Curling up, really reaching out through the knees here to keep that carriage docked. And last one, rolling back down in. I like to throw in a little single leg footwork because it's fun. So we're going to straighten both legs. Lower, lift, flex, point, and bend. I'm still on 3 reds. It is heavy, but it's doable. Lower, lift, flex, point, and bend. As long as your client is strong and can keep their back stable on the carriage, they can do this. If not, you can definitely switch down to 2 reds. And we're going to switch feet now. So left foot to tabletop, straighten both legs, lower, lift, flex, point, and bend. I think I did about 4 on the other side. lower, lift, flex, point, and bend. Straighten both legs, lower the top, lift, flex, point, and bend on the last one. Straighten, lower the top leg, lift the top leg. I'm flexing both feet, pointing both toes, bending both knees back in. All right, I'm gonna roll up and change the springs down to, we'll go for a red-blue today. You can definitely do this on 2 reds. I'm just gonna go for coordination, but this next is depending on class level. You can go for, supine arm work or the 100, coordination, a combination of those. So for coordination, it's curling out into the 100 position, open the legs, close the legs, bend the knees, then bend the elbows. Then you can either stay curled up or lower the head if you like. And again, roll up to the 100, open, close, bend the knees, then bend the elbows, lower the head if you want. And last one, open, close, bend the knees, bend the elbows, lower the head. This is how I teach it. I'll go out to iron cross next, and we'll stay up there for a minute. So up to the 100 position, open the arms for 4, and close, 3, and close, 2, and close, last one, and close. Pull the knees in, then bend the elbows, then lower the head. And of course, everything goes as far as maintaining this neutral pelvis the whole time. Curling up to the 100 position, now starfish. Open and close, arms and legs both. Open and close. We have 2 more. Open and close, and 1, and close. Pull the knees in, then bend the elbows, then lower the head. And rest for just a second. I'm going to do the single leg version, but I'm always emphasizing on this one to keep the pelvis still and level and not have it going anywhere. So very small range of motion from here up to the 100 position. Open the right leg slightly to the side, back to center. Left slightly to the side, back to center. Right slightly to the side and center. And left and center. 1 more. And 1 more left and center. Pull the knees in, bend the elbows, lower the head, rest the feet. The reward for that is feet in straps. So I'm going to pull the feet into the long loops for how we have our reformers set here. Get myself off the shoulder blocks, and we'll just start with lower and lift. And when I'm cueing these ones, especially for a beginner, I'll emphasize, that range of motion that's right for you. So I want to keep the hips anchored down here and not allow the back to press into the carriage and the hips to roll up. So I might give them the image of a small blueberry under their low back. Don't crush the blueberry when you pull your legs up. And then as you lower down, only go as far as you can keep that blueberry still on the carriage, so don't let it roll away. All right? So we're finding that range of motion where the upper body is very quiet on the carriage, and that's going to maintain throughout all of the exercises here, moving to circles. And we're looking for symmetry in the circles, again, still keeping track of our imaginary blueberry. You can have your clients do tiny circles, or you can have them do big circles as long as they're symmetrical and their upper body's still quiet. Last one, and we reverse. Sometimes I have my clients slow it down, and when you have them take it down to the slowest speed that they can, keep going here through this, about half speed or a third of the speed, it really makes it kind of an interesting, where do you feel that little pop in your hip, or where do you feel one leg wanting to wobble, and just, there's different things you can do as you go through these. So play with it a little bit in your own body, and then play with it as you get comfortable with that with your clients. Frogs is next, heels together, toes about a fist distance apart, bending the knees in toward the shoulders, not allowing this to happen here. So we're keeping the knees or the pelvis flat on the carriage, and stretch. And here I'll cue them to relax their feet. Once I get them to where they can at least, keep their feet together in this, then I'll start adding, okay, relax your feet. Imagine you're pushing out through wet cement here, so you're really finding that resistance in your body. Think of pulling your inner thighs together as you press out. Swimming frogs next, bend the knees in, stabilize the carriage, take it to a capital V, slide the heels down and together with straight knees. Bend the knees in, capital V, heels down together. Bend the knees in, capital V, heels down together. When I'm cueing a new person on this, I'll stand where they can see my arms. I'll be like, bend the knees in, capital V, heels down together. Bend the knees in, capital V, heels down together, and then I'll have them reverse back out to the capital V. Bend the knees, heels together, press away. Capital V, knees bend, heels together, and press. Two more, capital V, knees bend, and press. Last one, knees bend, stretch out, and then I'll let everybody take an inner thigh stretch of choice. That can be just inner thighs like this with your legs straight out to the side. You can also take happy baby here. Or you can also cue them through the Russian kick with one leg out. And this one. So there's options there for that. All right, I'm going to come out of the loops. Tempted to do some inversion right now, but I'm going to pass and move on to a little bit of rowing before we finish up. So you see how I did all of that with only one spring change and one body position change. Now I'm shifting. I'm still on a red-blue. And I'm going to go straight into some rows. You can also take them into the short box or the long box here with switching to a red. So there's different options. With some rows here though, a red-blue is a good way to start out, just to kind of get some nice arm work in without anything too crazy. I'm in a roll down position. Deep abdominals, we got 3, 2, 1, and palms down for wide rows. So those were narrow next to the body. I'm taking some wide ones. I'm sweating. I think I forgot to turn the AC down. 3, 2, and 1, and arms go straight, roll back up tall. Take a few bicep curls here at this weight. And here we're going to keep the elbows high, so that's something I'll watch in my clients. Stay sitting tall, keep the elbows high, get that full range of motion. So you see I'm straightening all the way out. And one more, woo, and bringing it down. I could continue rows and just drop down. I could do some of the flies here and drop down to a red, but I actually almost forgot the long stretch series, and that's a red-blue. So just lifting the headrest, I can flow right into that. So into the position, hands, and feet right up into your plank. And we're ready to go. And there's a nice flow here we can go through with long stretch to up stretch to Jackrabbit, and then we can go to either down stretch or elephant. So I'll just kind of show that one more long stretch here. Pull it in. We're going to walk the heels halfway up the shoulder blocks. Keeping the carriage home, we're shifting the hips back over the heels and roll my wrist forward just enough that I know I'm in a good position for this. We're going to press out, draw the chest forward until we dock that carriage, and then we pike the hips all the way back up to the start, keeping the carriage at home. Then we open out again, ride it in, dock, and pike it up, And one more, just so we can continue with the flow here, so you can see where I might go. And pike it up. Right here, all we have to do is just bend the knees, and we're ready for Jackrabbit. Pressing back and in, back and in. And I always make this one a little fun with my clients. Be like, faster, faster, faster. Now, I struggle myself to go faster, 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 so it's a joke, but it's also serious. And I claim it's because I'm tall, I can't get the carriage back in as fast as everybody else. Anyway, we're down to the knees. We're going right into down stretch here. So the hips come forward, the chest is lifted, and the gaze is high. And the only joint moving is the shoulders here, pressing the carriage back, pulling it in, lifting the chest all the way into the stoppers. Press it back, and lift, lift, lift. And one more. And I will do more reps of some of these. Again, I'm just kind of making a quick, short flow here for you all, and for me. One more. And in, then I'll let everybody stretch back, stretch out their low back. And then we'll go right into elephant, standing up. Hips back over the heels, toes up, as straight and easy as you can muster, pressing the carriage back a couple inches and then pulling it back in underneath us. You can see my shoulders are not moving here. That's just my lower abdominals pulling up so deep that carriage comes back in to the stoppers with each rep. 3, 2, and 1. So more advanced classes, I would take them from Jackrabbit. I might go down to down stretch and then over to arabesque, or I might just go straight to arabesque. Different places you can go there in that series, all in the same spring weight, all in the same position. Just be mindful that that series is wristy, so you may need to come down and give them a break from their wrist. I'm going to go right into my finishing stretches because I think we've been about 20 minutes here and I've got a class coming in. So I'm going to start right into Mermaid. I'm in the Z-sit position, so my shin on this side is up against the shoulders. You can see how I am. And side bending up and over. And here you can see my right hip is reaching down toward the carriage and my top fingers are reaching up. So I'm lifting these ribs, trying not to collapse into that side. And again, up and over. And here I'll round forward, and I can either take the swan stretch here, and that would be moving this hand out just a little bit. Or I can take the other side of the reformer with this free arm and really pull myself into that stretch. And then we'll de-rotate, come back up to tall. Little counter stretch. And I'll just pivot, swivel around. So now my other shin is up against those shoulder blocks. This hip is down. And we do the same thing, side bending up and over again, trying not to collapse now into the right side and opening up the left. And up. And again, up and over, and then we can round forward. Take the swan. Do a couple here since I did a couple on the other side and it feels good. And then going back and just getting that other pull into that other side. Oh, so nice. We'll de-rotate, come back up to tall. And move right out into lunge. This is always a great place to finish. If I have a couple extra minutes after this, I might do a standing roll down. But this is lovely. So here I'm more than pressing back, I'm bending this front knee and sinking down into this to open out this hip. My shoulders are out of my ears, my head is lifted, and we bring it back in. One more, send it down and back. And I'll usually offer this option for people to keep that hip open, but then begin to straighten that front leg back only as far as it will. And I'm showing you just how tight my hamstrings can be, but You can see, I see a lot of clients want to go like this, and that's not what I'm looking for here. I wanted to keep that stretch clean here and keep this hip open. I'll pull it back in, and I'm going to take it on the other side, just coming across. The knee is down on the carriage. The standing leg is just behind the bottom of the foot bar. Again, bending the front knee and sinking down into the left hip now, opening it up. Shoulders are relaxed. You can do this in this position, but I really like the stability here better. Personally, it's a personal choice. And bring it in. And then this last one I'll show you on this side, the split. So again, as we go back down into the stretch, we find the regular lunge stretch here first, and then we hold it and just go back a little farther till we find the length of our hamstring. That puts the stretch really in a nice spot here. It's hard, but it's a good, clean hamstring stretch without losing the opening of the other hip, which, as you can see, I got this front leg straight here, but now my hip is piped up. It's a little pet peeve of mine. So we press that back in a nice clean stretch here, pull it all the way in, and we are finished. So just a nice way to flow. It's a nice thing to think about as you're planning your classes. How can I move the body from one position through all the exercises that I want there to the next position with all the exercises I want there with as minimal spring changes as possible. So that is that. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.